Speaking of Uber Air, there's a dragon that's about to kill Raazu.
Good segue.
Adrex, did I tell you to incur a level of exhaustion?
You did.
Okay.
Stream's ability checks are at disadvantage.
They
Good luck.
All right, I'm going to ask a question of Windy, Birdie, and Raazu. And try to give me a general answer. Because I feel like if we roleplay this whole hour-plus long scene out, like one-to-one, then Adrex is not going to have anything to do for a very long time.
Oh, thank freaking God, because I was going to freaking die if you didn't do that. Thank you.
Okay. I changed my mind, and now we're doing that.
No! No!
I thought we left that behind in Planescape. Granted, I loved the Planescape role-playing stuff, and I'm loving it again with all the rewatching. But
Alright, so. General
Ancient
answer.
Red Dragon, in all of its majesty and anger and fury, lands amidst you. And as it does so, first of all, I need everybody to make a wisdom saving throw. DC is 21.
You get +4 to this because Raazu's nearby. And alive.
Pass.
Fail.
21, you said?
21.
There goes the die. Fail. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to blow up that. That's better. Yeah, Raazu passes.
Okay. And that was my last pretzel. There's no more crunching after this point.
Sure.
Okay.
You say so.
I'm having yogurt.
Was he hot?
Whew. Good night, everybody.
Hashtag yogurt stories. The dragon lands with such ferocity that the very ground around you quakes and shakes. Let's get a DC 15 dexterity saving throw.
Pass.
Raazu fails.
Birdie failed.
Raazu and Birdie, as the ground beneath you quakes, you both are knocked prone, falling to the ground. And just for funsies, I'm going to count using half your movement to stand up as moving towards the dragon, so as long as you're afraid of the dragon, you can't do that.
That's bullshit. Okay, that's fine. Raazu's not afraid of the dragon, though.
Who's got the highest passive insight from the three of you?
Windy.
Do you still have the highest
11.
passive insight with -5, Windy?
Probably. What's yours?
It's 13.
Yeah,
11.
I do.
Okay. There's something about this dragon's movements and voice as it begins to speak that is not as rock solid, that is not as steadfast as the previous time you spoke to it. You're not sure if it's just the acoustics in the room are different, but if you had to put a pin in it, you'd think that its recent experience with Adrex driving him around has shaken him somewhat. And this is the source of its great anger. Here's the question I'm going to pose to Birdie first and then the other two. What is Birdie's general argument going to be for why this dragon should not eat you right away? Birdie, you also realize you have an enormous pile of magical MacGuffins as bargaining chips with which to buy your lives.
We'll save that for a later date.
This may very well be the latest date. Standing in the actual majesty of this dragon, you feel that it is more powerful, it is older and stronger than your sire was at his height.
Well, I'll offer. Where is it? I don't have the. Hold on. I mean, I'll offer all the potions and scrolls that I'm carrying, and because like I've only got like the 2 wands, so then they're not particularly like useful.
Let me see if that's actually true. What is Birdie carrying?
I've got a wand of water breathing and a wand of create water. I also have like an expended wand of flame arrow.
Oh, the wand of Flamaro.
You're
Yeah.
also carrying some spellstones.
Oh, right.
Your group has 3 spell. I've got them marked as you carrying all of them, but I know Wendy's been taking one and using it.
Wendy has the Stone of Legend lore. I don't.
Right, let me change that then.
And I'll offer up the Spellstone of Banishment.
Only one of them,
Yes.
even though you have 2.
Yes.
Would your dragon sire have fallen for that ruse if somebody walked into his realm with 2 spellstones and only offered him 1?
I mean, I don't know, because I don't know if he can tell if I'm carrying the Spellstones.
Okay, so you're going to offer expendable magic items plus
Like,
the
do you
spellstone
think-
of banishment.
Yeah.
Okay, Raazu, same question. What is your angle for why this dragon should not devour all 3 of you right now? And I'm not giving you any of the insights that Birdie has because you don't have experience with dragons.
Nope.
Anything?
I'm trying to think here.
Wendy, do you have an idea of what you're going to do?
Well, to be honest, Wendy was probably going to follow Birdie's lead, because what's the point of having a kobold if you're not going to listen to them about dragons?
So Wendy's
Like,
going to
we
offer
just-
up magic items?
Sure, what do I got?
Keep in mind, I don't have any of your weapons on this list. I maintain a list of basically the expendable stuff.
I don't know that I have any magic weapons. You won't tell me. It's a big secret.
Yeah, same. Hush, hush. Top secret G14 classified. So Raazu is going to take the approach of Hantao asked us to investigate something gone amiss in your realm. And
It was a secret.
So you're going to appeal to Hantao?
yeah,
Rydia, that is not food. That is... What do you have? You have... a book of stamps. Where did you get a book of goddamn stamps? Sorry about that. My dog was trying to mail herself to a better place.
Abu Dhabi.
So you're going to appeal to Hantao. Like, Hantao asked us to do this thing, and then
Found this kobold here. We found this kobold down in the spire, and he was being real cagey and didn't give us a straight answer.
Okay.
And he outright lied up here just now.
And I'm going to use as my argument that we know about a threat about people impinging onto his realm, because we found a bunch of dwarven robots breaking into the spire.
I hate dwarven robots. Okay. Birdie,
Mm-hmm.
when you begin waving this spellstone of banishment around, like, hey, see the shiny things we'll give you if you let us live? The dragon is very clearly interested and leans its head in very close to you, coils its neck around you as you hold this spellstone in your hand.
Like, I'll tell him, I'll be like, yeah, we got this from the Underdark.
Make a deception check. Oh, maybe you don't have to roll that high. I rolled a 2, which turns into an 18, so beat an 18.
I'm just gonna use all my remaining blips and go for the auto completion.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like getting eaten today. So I'm out of blips.
Why not?
That's like the exact opposite of my character's life goal.
Kyung Zhao accepts your tribute, and one of the Dragonborn takes the Spellstone of Banishment from your hands. And says that in addition, he will also accept your potions and your wands and scrolls. He asks you which of your allies, and he motions to the Hobgoblin and the Aarakocra. He asks you which of their lives have you bought.
Oh.
I think both of them said Adrex was their favorite last week.
No, Wendy said that Wendy sided with me.
Oh. Well, then Wendy says you're her favorite.
Yeah.
And then Wendy said, immediately rescinded that. I remember.
I don't remember that.
Go ahead and mark all the potions and scrolls and the Spellstone of Banishment from the sheet.
I didn't offer the... Did they just forcibly take the ones I didn't offer too?
I thought you said you were offering the potions and wands and scrolls.
No, I said I was keeping the two... Well, I wasn't going to offer the potion, the wand to create water, but...
Well, you cleared your deception check, so anything you want to hide from him on your person, you can hide, and he'll take the rest of it.
No, I'll just keep the wand of water breathing and the wand of create water. He can have the rest.
Okay. This is going to take me a second here.
So I will remove that from...
I'm actually going to make a new color on my spreadsheet for shit that Birdie gave to Kyung Zhao, because Birdie's got a lot of stuff.
Let's see. Well, he's not the only ancient power I've given stuff to.
Mm-hmm.
This is what, the fourth time?
It's kind of your whole thing.
Listen, I haven't been eaten yet. Something's working.
I don't know. Adrex got real close a couple times.
Adrex doesn't count.
So you're holding on to the Spellstone of Extract Rune?
Yes. And then the
Wand of Water Breathing and the Wand of Create Water.
Yes.
Okay.
You mean Adrex can't count?
Just put this under our expended items tab.
So yeah, he asks which one of your companions' lives have you bought with these gifts? And he bids you not test his patience.
He points. Birdie immediately points at Wendy.
Okay.
No,
I remember that.
No, I'm just joking. I say, I point at Raazu and say, please forgive her for her outburst, sir.
And with that, the dragon's head whips back to Wendy. He says, "Your companion asks me very politely that I make a meal of you. And you try to defend yourself with information you have of possible threats to his realm.
Mm-hmm.
What are the nature of these threats?"
That we've found what was it, like corpses of dwarven robots?
Mm-hmm.
In the spire, which we've understood to be a major source of his magic. We think they might be looking to take it from you.
Can you tell them about any of the undead in there? The ghosts and whatnot?
I mean, I'll tell them about basically whatever's in there, yeah.
Okay. And as you're speaking, Student 9 backs you up and says that there's a great deal that he's discovered in that place. That he would like to share. But that he could not do so without the input of his three companions, motioning to the three of you. Wendy, make a persuasion check. Make it at advantage because the dragon has been partially appeased and you've got Student 9 making literally the exact same argument.
That's a 18.
And with that, the dragon turns to Raazu and says, I am inclined to show you mercy. With but a swipe of my claw, I could cauterize the wounds that crisscross your flesh. Burn them closed, so that you feel the sting of pain no longer. And as he speaks, you feel the ground around you tremble and begin to get very, very hot. And you begin to appeal to Hantao. What do you say?
I say that Hantao asked us to escort Student 9 down into the spire to ascertain the nature of possible threats to your realm.
Adrex.
Yes, sir.
How do you intend to lower yourself from the staircase down into the almost boiling lake?
Oh, yeah.
By this time, you have a level of exhaustion. You've ran all the way there. You know that these Dragonborn may or may not be in hot pursuit behind you. Or you may have lost them in the tunnels. You're not sure.
How far is that drop?
It was a good 30 or 40 feet.
30 or 40 feet?
Mm-hmm.
Adrex would...
Also, what's your light source? Are you using your sword as... Oh, you don't have your sword.
I don't have my sword.
What is your light source?
He still has torches.
Okay.
So he would light a torch after he lands in the water.
Well, you'd have to light one to get to the water first. It's real dark in those tunnels.
Then, yeah, Adrex would light a torch.
Okay.
Once he gets to the pit, Adrex is the kind of guy that would take off his armor and just jump.
So you remove your armor. Are you leaving it up by the stairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Adrex he's pushing himself, and he's genuinely that he needs to get there as fast as possible, so that is what he would do.
Okay, it's just italicize or something. Make a mark of everything on your character sheet that you're leaving up at the stairs that you're not jumping in with, just in case you never see it again.
You got it.
And you dive into the water. And as I described last week, the water is extremely hot, but it's not like scalding. It's like just being in this area is like a very hot sauna. When you pull yourself up out, rekindle a torch, and make your way back. And you realize, oh shit, I don't have the keys for these locks.
Did we relock them all? I don't think we relocked them all.
No, well, you have the keys. I wouldn't do that. I mean,
Jokes.
pretty funny though.
Yeah. Especially because I genuinely thought about the keys. I don't think we relocked any of the doors.
Did you leave it unlocked? Did you just leave it unguarded? That's
Should we
also
leave
an
the
option.
lights on in the house?
I think we did.
Okay.
Like, I don't
Man, you
remember.
get back there, and the spirally patterned wall is still stands ahead of you.
All right. Let's touch the spirally pattern.
Okay. I need you to make a charisma check at disadvantage because you're exhausted.
Is this for the statue, or is this for the...
This is to get control of the statue. When you take control of the statue, you have to fight your way in. And this is a Remember, you rolled a 20 on this the first time.
Yeah. What I was going to ask is, can I just spend the 4 blips to succeed?
Absolutely, you can.
Then that's what I'll do.
All right, that's 4,000 experience down the drain.
Adrex is real, and before the statue, before he tries to get into this dragon's brain again, he says, "I hope I'm not making a bad situation worse." Goes back in this dragon's brain.
Okay.
Somewhere wherever Red is, he's going, no, no, no.
Yeah. Whatever he's doing, then he's just like, oh, I just got a headache all of a sudden. What's going on?
Imagine Destil's watching this and he'd be like, fuck!
Yelling at his phone. Raazu.
Hey.
The dragon accuses you of treachery. First, you would murder his daughter, and then you would tell him lies about his own son, his commander, betraying his trust and sending trespassers. And the words coming out of his mouth you kind of don't believe them yourself. You're like, wait a minute. There's no way Hantal asked us to do this thing against this dragon. That doesn't make any sense now.
Yeah, Raazu gestures to Huyan's body and says, "Whatever felled her, it was not by steel or any of our weapons. It was by something foul."
The dragon barks out an order in Draconic to erect a metal spike. And the kobolds start going nuts in the area. And a couple of Dragonborn. There's a lot of activity. These hobgoblins here, they've actually moved the other prisoners back to about this distance. Some kobolds and Dragonborn erect a metal spike in the ground. Just this large metal pole that they stick and then hammer into place. Qiang Zhao turns and blasts it with dragon fire, and the supernatural heat of it is almost unbearable. But a fraction of this gout is enough to melt this metal in place and fuse it with the stone of the ground. And then he bids the quiet bones to lift Raazu up and bind her to the spike. Raazu, are you resisting this at all? You and your 6 hit points?
Raazu's in no condition to.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I thought Birdie bought. Yeah. I thought Birdie had bought my safety, but I guess not. I guess we're just...
Are you making that appeal now?
Yeah.
You're saying that out loud?
I thought Birdie had. I thought my companion had bought my safety.
And these appeals fall on deaf ears as the rabble and the rousing of these kobolds at the spectacle they're about to see. As Raazu was pushed against this spike, her arms are bound behind it.
Birdie jumps up and tries to. It's like, my lord, wait.
Raazu kicks Birdie away.
Well, Raazu, at this point, you're bound to this spike.
Okay.
Birdie stands up. Wait.
Like,
Dragon kneels down, and there's silence hanging in the air for a moment. He says, "Make sure that I like your next answer." And he snarls, and coils of smoke come out of his massive nostrils.
Birdie lets out a deep sigh. He goes, "My lord, you know I am absolutely terrified of you. So, like, please take that under advisement. But we found your daughter injured in a room with a undead creature. And when we actually tried to save her life, and when we used a potion, it turned into a black sludge. I've never seen anything like that before."
The dragon cranes his head back towards Rolf and says, "Can you produce evidence for this?" Rolf is standing in place like a statue, looking back towards Windy and Birdie like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Like, did we keep the black potion? Or did it, like, disintegrate and evaporate? I don't remember.
It turned to black sludge and boiled away.
Okay.
Like, but you do have Raazu's body here. The question
you could try doing that again to Huyan's body.
Okay, I say, well, I'll pull out I'll go get a potion from Windy and then try and use a potion on the dead body.
The dragon bids Rolf to bring forth the body of his daughter, which Rolf does after a fashion. Drags the body to the middle of the spectacle here. Raazu, you're watching as this body is inching forward, and it takes years. Everything is moving so slowly because one sneeze from this dragon, and you're
Raazu is
incinerated.
praying to Ostrom right now.
Out loud or to yourself?
To herself. Like, anyone looking at her would see her lips moving, but she's not saying anything audible.
As Huyan's body is dragged forward, the dragon mocks you and asks if your god can hear you in this place. And Rolf pulls back. What did you have her body covered or wrapped in?
cloaks, I guess.
Cloaks.
Like we made a litter with cloaks.
Do not litter the litter.
Yeah.
I knew McDohl would chuckle at that one. I'm like, I'm only gonna get one partial chuckle, and I knew where it was gonna come from.
It's just a chuck.
Yeah.
I replayed that game recently.
And there are gasps from some of the assembled as Huyan's body is revealed, even before Birdie manages to pull out another potion, because they see the large metal grafts on her neck and her shoulder and her forearm. The dragon roars in anger, flashes his head back towards in between Birdie and Raazu, and bellows out, "Why have you done this thing?"
This is how we found her. As it calls out.
We actually, my lord, we're trying to. We have no idea how this happened. Like, there was
Adrex,
no
This
ending.
is-
Yes.
How does Kyang Jiao respond to that?
Silently watching.
So he
goes-
bellows
goes-
out, "Why have you done this thing?" And you guys start stammering out answers, and the dragon just coils back as though listening intently.
These are the kinds of threats that your son asked us to investigate. Had we known that your daughter would have been involved, we probably would have brought word back immediately, but she was already on death's door when we found her.
And Adrex, you can't hear these arguments as you're wrestling for control inside, but you get this great sensation of pity as creatures far beneath you are stammering out anything they can think of, anything they think you want to hear to barter for their miserable, worthless lives. That is definitely not food. What did you find now?
I thought they were talking to Adrex.
Half of a plastic Easter egg. Why do I have this in the house? I'm gonna literally just start, like, eventually she's gonna pull like a bar of gold or something out of the closets.
She's just gonna dig her head underneath the couch and pull out a gun. Just be like, no, Rydia.
I'm sorry, but yeah, you hear these meaningless creatures bartering for their worthless lives, but you can't hear the exact arguments they're making.
Adrex would let out a low growl in frustration and annoyance.
Okay. Yeah, and you guys are making these arguments, and the dragon seems unmoved.
Well, I'm going to just try and see if the potion reacts to her dead body.
No, it doesn't react to any dead body. Now you pour it out on her? Do you waste the potion?
No, I was just going to open it and see, because I didn't have to pour it last time. I opened it near her, and it.
No, she was alive last time, though.
Yeah.
But no, the potion does not react. Adrex, what's next?
Is Adrex aware of the situation, or is it still just like a blur?
You still have your full range of action. You're still Adrex. You're just also something else, and you don't have perfect. You have difficulty seeing and hearing clearly. It's everything's coming at you through a fog. Most of your connection with this creature seems to be just in its like an empathetic thing, like just its feelings and emotions.
It's like
Okay. In that case, Adrex would say through the dragon, who is the one that asserts that she was murdered and not eaten by undead?
And Wendy will step forward.
no, it would be him.
Who?
I think he's asking who's accusing us.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Wendy
Sorry.
accuses you. Wendy
sorry.
accuses.
Get her.
Burn her. Burn the witch.
We found a paladin. May we burn her?
And these pitiful creatures begin gesturing towards this badly injured winged kobold who has very recently been paladin to the ground.
Like how that's a verb. That's great.
And Adrex would lean into the grounded paladin, stare at him very intensely, and say,
Her.
"Are you her very intensely and say, and are you telling me the truth?"
Raazu
The
nods.
intent of. I thought we were talking about the kobold, the one-winged ant creature.
The Erd,
The Erd.
whose name I forget.
Bitterin.
Yeah,
Bitterin. Thank you.
Sephiroth.
Adrex is talking to Bitterin here.
Okay.
And you were telling me the truth, correct? You wouldn't dare lie to me, right?
And you feel nothing but fear from this creature. Fear, but also great deception. Make an insight check at disadvantage because you're kind of operating two brains at the same time. Do you have what's your wisdom? Well, what's your insight bonus?
+1.
+1? Okay, then you can use the +2 then here.
Okay. It's still a 3.
Still a 3. Yeah. This creature has great fear of you, and for good reason, because every creature in your court does. And out of fear, these things would never lie to you. Especially not while standing in your presence. And it affirms that no, it watched, and it motions to Raazu, is this the Hobgoblin cut Huyan down, and then motions back to the pile of weapons and describes the fucking hammer's fucking hammer. And looking at the wound on her body, which in reality was dealt with one of the blunt end of one of these mining picks to her chest, collapsing in her ribcage and probably a lung. Looks like it could be a similar blunt instrument.
Like, Birdie says, "My lord, your esteemed guest, Student 9, was actually present when we found your daughters injured."
What does Adrex do?
Don't throw me under the truck.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My telephone is ringing, and I can't ignore the call today. Give me 2 minutes, guys. I'll be right back.
Righto.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think we are to die?
I put us at about a 6.
I feel like I could get away while he's eating you guys.
You're
so
closest to the dragon.
I only got to survive once.
Gotta survive that plus 28 to hit.
I got shield.
McDohl player is sorry that you're in this situation, but it's literally
it's all right.
Raazu's thing.
No, it's all right. This is actually amusing.
Yeah, no, it's interesting as fuck.
See, I have Matt, the player, knows how to solve this mystery, but I'm also playing Adrex, who is playing a dragon, like 3 steps removed there.
Role-playing Inception. I'm so sorry about that. Adrex, where were we?
No forgiveness.
I'll forgive you if you make the dragon go away.
He's asking where we were. Tell him the dragon went away.
Does the dragon fly away suddenly?
No. Adrex turns to Raazu and says, "And is that your hammer?"
No, my weapon is the trident over there. It's the weapon that I wield. It's a piercing weapon, not a bludgeoning weapon.
Adrex,
Yeah.
The weapon that she's referring to is this metal trident, and you sense great magic in this item. Intense elemental cold.
Ew. No.
And you detest this thing, and you covet it greatly at the same time. But you're still Adrex, so do whatever you want. The dragon bellows out, "The trident and the hammer now belong to the white dragonborn, and also we are making him many pies."
And nachos.
Adrex will go over and actually investigate the trident. And then
the
get
dragon-
immediately repulsed by it.
Okay. So the dragon gingerly picks up this trident with its claw and then immediately clatters back down onto the pile.
Ugh. It's cold. But
Nailed it.
Adrex turns back to the Eft. She claims she wields that cold trident, and I do not see cold burns anywhere on my daughter's body.
And
Nor is there any. It's a piercing weapon, and there's bludgeoning marks on my daughter's body.
the kobold simply reiterates that the hobgoblin used the hammer to strike the killing blow.
That hammer was our companion who fled. That belonged to our companion who fled. the Dragonborn of Ice. The absolute coward.
The very smart and sexy Dragonborn Platinum. As well he should have. He has no place here. So what you are telling me is that this hobgoblin wielded this hammer, dealt the killing blow, and then handed it off to someone else?
And you're not going to get any different answers out of the kobold. He's going to reassert that answer and just hope it works. He's basically playing he's trying to pretend to have been Qiang Zhao's loyal man.
Student 9, how did I take down the metallic men who attacked us deep in the catacombs?
Student
Of
9
the,
very
spot.
flatly responds, "My apologies, but I was paying attention to the runes inscribed to the walls, and did not see the blow for blow in the combat. I cannot speak to who slayed who."
Birdie turns and looks at Student 9 and said, "There was no combat going on when you were there."
Now, there's just confusion mixed in with your anger as these meaningless creatures are now squabbling amongst themselves. They can't even keep their own story straight about who was fighting and when, and who got attacked and who struck a blow. And your anger is just rising and rising and rising.
Birdie looks at the red dragon. "My lord, I think the most pertinent question is, what was this kobold doing in the spire? We had permission to be there. Did he?"
Adrex, what do you do?
Answer the little one's question.
Remember, you can't hear exactly what they're saying. You're working on
okay.
emotion and instinct, more or less.
Right. Adrex would let out a big old roar in frustration. And... Working on the deception that Adrex initially felt with this Eft.
Eft? Wait, what? What's an
And Erd, whatever it
And
is.
that's it.
And
Got it.
isn't it? Oh, whatever. He figures it's this is stemming this thing here is the source of all of the confusion.
Mhm.
Just picks him up in his mouth and throws him in the lava.
You just fling the Erd into the lava, and he
Yeah.
screams all the way down and just disappears into the smoke coming from the pit. And the dragon turns back in anger to the rest of the assembled group.
Birdie mumbles under his breath. That actually made me feel a lot better.
And
Windy, Raazu, and Birdie, everybody, all three of you can make separate insight checks at advantage.
$14.
17.
20.
Okay. And watching this dragon reach down and grab Bitterin off the ground and fling him into the pit, you three are pretty sure that must mean that Adrex got into the spire safely.
And where's Han Tao?
And you hear the dragon ask, "Where is Han Tao?" And one of the Dragonborn nearby kind of stammers out, "But my lord, he's under lock and key as you commanded." And as you ask about Han Tao, you get this seeping, very recent, very angry memory of a conversation with Han Tao that was very awkward and feeling incredible anger and embarrassment and lashing out and having him dungeoned up as a result of this.
Oops. Good job, Adrex.
That sounds about right.
And you do have this intuitive knowledge of
Yeah.
where Han Tao is, even as you ask about him. The rest of you hear this Dragonborn reply confusedly, "My lord, you commanded us to lock him up. And we
I
did
knew
so."
that. And now I am telling you to set him free.
And he turns and barks some orders to some nearby kobolds who go running off towards the bridge.
Raazu still kind of playing up the whole "I'm about to die" thing, still muttering prayers to Osprey, but in Hobgoblin.
Say what in Hobgoblin?
Raazu is just muttering in the prayers in Hobgoblin.
Okay. Adrex, what's next?
Until Han Tao comes out, he'll just sort of grumble and roar in frustration and anger,
Okay.
and in efforts to keep up the charade and trying to act as if he were actually the Red Dragon.
As Han Tao returns, you see that he has neither his weapons nor his armor, and he comes across the bridge with his pack of kobolds, and he takes a knee and bows very low. "My lord father, I'm reporting as requested."
I hereby order you to go with the interlopers and to go investigate the spire again, and for them to talk to you about what they had discovered. Understood?
He stands, and the rest of you see he looks very confused, and he's scanning the group, and he has no idea what's going on. He nods and says, "As you command, my lord. Shall I take a contingent?" And you have no idea what he's asking because you can't hear his words.
Yes. No.
And he
Just the few of you for now. Come back later. tell me what you found.
And his head bows low at the admonishment. He says, "It shall be done." And he barks some orders to nearby kobolds to have Raazu lowered from the spike. And Raazu, you feel the binds against your wrists cut. And you
Rubs
slide
her
to the
wrists. Drops down, rubs her wrists, looks up at the dragon, and just moves over to where Hantao is really quickly.
ground. Okay. And Hantao looks at the five of you and says, we'll leave right away, my lord.
So Birdie
Yes,
walks.
good, excellent.
Birdie walks over and starts to gather his stuff.
Okay.
And
Raazu goes
The
for her
hobgoblins
weapons as
step
well.
to intercept you. They've heard no such command to allow you to take your gear.
let them have their gear.
And the hobgoblins shrink away from the gear. You guys pick up your weaponry.
I'll grab Adrex's swords and daggers, but I'm not carrying the fucking hammer.
I don't think you could carry it. You could drag the fucking hammer, maybe.
And then I'm going to walk across the bridge very, very quickly. Scurrying is probably a more accurate term.
And Adrex turns to go fly off back into his cave.
Okay.
Turns back around and says, "The rest of you, meet me in my cave and tell me how much you love me."
The Dragonborns and the Kobolds kind of exchange glances, and nobody's really sure who he was referring to.
And Wendy nods to herself.
Yep. There it is.
Large numbers of Dragonborn and Kobolds, and so the next hour or so of your life is just this parade of sycophantic praise lavished upon you.
Adric pretends to be Donald Trump for a day. I know it's been 0 minutes, but I couldn't resist.
And
Oh,
Hantao and the rest of you begin moving back to the spire. It's not until you are clear of the northern bridge, the three of you plus Hantao, Student 9, and Rolf. It's not until you're well clear of the bridge and the fires of the cave have melted away behind you that he risks speaking. And he tells you that his Lord Father has been acting very strangely of late.
Raazu almost starts laughing at that point.
Like,
I should hope so.
So did anybody grab the hammer? Because I sure as didn't.
Raazu did.
Okay. Yes, okay, grab the hammer that you insist that you don't use.
I don't use this hammer. Let me take this hammer.
Hey, that coward ran away. It's mine.
Hey,
now.
they're not going to ask us. Listen, they have to go tell a dragon how much they love him.
That I love. Okay, I'm sorry. But, okay, it's just the three of us and Hantao. It's not anybody else.
It's plus Rolf.
Student 9 and Rolf are with you as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so...
You said the interlopers, so.
Well, Student 9 is...
I said the interlopers.
Yeah, Student 9 is a guest, so I was kind of assuming he would stay.
Yeah,
and
but
go
Wendy
tell the-
grabbed him.
Oh.
Wendy was very curious as to what the fuck.
It's about a 2-hour
How's it-
journey from this position to the top of the stair leading down into the spire.
Once once we're clear, Raazu will start to explain. Not sure how, but that spire is it's incredibly potent. I can't there's something in there that I don't. But I mean, you probably saw that your Lord Father was acting very peculiarly, and
Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
tell what it does, but it seems to have some sort of effect on him. That's as much as we ascertained before we left. We didn't want to mess with it, just in case we caused him some kind of harm.
Hantao
Also-
stops and looks at Wendy very suspiciously, looks at the group, and he asks, "Where's Adrex?"
And Wendy shrugs, says he ran away.
he fled, as far as I know.
Wendy,
Uh,
Hantao pushes you up against the wall, puts his hand onto your chest and presses inward. Then he very angrily growls out, "He did not run away. Where is Adrex?"
And Wendy looks over at the spire. He says he probably ran to see if there was anything there he could use to help free us.
He lets you go. And he says that you'll lead him there in all haste.
Absolutely.
That's where we're going. We're already going there.
Yeah.
While
He
we're running
begins,
there,
during the journey, he begins grilling you with questions about what you found. And he doesn't believe at all that you don't know what it does.
So he begins grilling us with questions. But he said to lead there at all haste.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go fast enough that he's too tired to ask questions if he wants to keep up?
You can definitely leave him behind, but in doing so, he'll probably just increase and turn his anger on your other companions. Of course, there's no illusion of who would win that fight. He's not armed. He doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy with a breath weapon, but you guys have all your stuff.
I've seen a dragon's breath weapon. It's not that impressive.
But yeah, you can leave the group behind if you want.
No. I was just hoping to... Like, he wanted to get there in all haste. I'm hoping to go fast enough that he's too exhausted. But if he's just going to stop, then...
No, he'll just start getting the questions out of your other companions.
like,
Raazu says, you charged us to investigate the spire for anything that might have caused
Yeah.
that would cause threat to your father. Well,
Well, let me put
what
it
we
this way.
found.
Are you about to tell him the truth of what you found and what's happening with Adrex?
Let me put it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy's going to distract him for as long as possible by telling him how his sister died.
He has no interest in that.
Just doesn't care.
It's not that he doesn't care, it's that
Brutal.
he cares about this other thing way more. So, if this conversation goes any direction other than you telling him the truth of what you found and where Adrex is, it's
Yeah.
going to require a deception check at disadvantage. I'll let one of you make it.
I'll do it.
Whoever wants to take the lead on that.
I got it.
And also, my puppy is barking out there. I'm going to go grab her and bring her back in here.
I'm gonna go ahead and belief point that.
Nice.
Booyaka. Let's dock 2 more belief points.
how do you keep your players from leveling too fast? Step 1.
Turn their experience into making their rolls not shit.
You guys should just roll good like me.
Working on it, buddy. Working on it.
Alright, she had managed to get up onto a piece of furniture that I'm pretty sure it's impossible for her to get up onto, and that she couldn't figure out how to get down.
She's magic.
I don't want to
that's what it
Sherlock
is.
Holmes this for you, Brickroad, but I think it might not be impossible.
So, she can jump a lot higher than I'm expecting. How did that deception check go?
28.
28.
I had to burn belief points for it, but yeah.
So you're not
You
telling him
rolled
the
that.
truth of what you found and what Adric's doing. What do you tell him instead?
I am trying to give him enough information to where he won't. To where, like, the idea is I'm trying to make it to where we can get there right as I'm getting to that point. I'm not trying to stonewall him, but I'm trying to delay the money shot, basically.
Okay. And as you do this, he becomes more and more convinced of this story that Adrex is a coward that fled at the sight of his companion's most dire need. He believes that Adrex was made of much sterner stuff. And he asks you, provided this situation ends amicably for you, if you would have him see Adrex brought to justice for this crime.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's perfectly reasonable to run from your father.
He hasn't had time to examine Huyan's body, so you become aware of the fact that he hasn't seen the metal grafts, and he's not aware of how she died.
And Raazu will start talking about that and explain we don't know why she had that stuff grafted to her body. We tried to we after she had died, we had taken a look at a little closer of a look, and the grafting is drilled down into the bone. We would have had to mutilate her body to pull those plates off.
And then Birdie pipes in and explains what happened with the potion.
He asks if you found any of Huyan's party alive.
Just the kobold that the dragon just threw into the fire, into the magma.
I don't think he was there to witness that.
No.
Okay.
But
At this,
then
he
there
stops
you go.
again, and he asks you if you know how Huyan came into possession of those keys.
She just handed them to me.
How did Huyan come into possession of them?
That's the 64,000 gold coin question there.
You almost said Gil.
I did.
And he gets this very pained and hurt look on his face.
Do you know who had them before?
And he says nothing and continues walking towards the spire. And is very sullen and withdrawn after that point. Make an insight check.
Raazu kind of... I think I know where this insight check is going, but... That's a 12.
Does anybody else want to aid in that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll aid.
Okay.
My insight
What is this, an
shit.
insight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I roll it?
No, he's already rolled.
Damn you, Raazu.
That's the second
that's
worst
better.
thing you've done today. How do we do?
That's a lot better.
What's the actual number?
What's your
Treble.
bonus, Raazu?
Oh, that's a 20.
A 20?
Yeah.
You could tell that he suspects Meekwin, and he's laboring over some terrible thing he's going to have to do to make the situation right.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, a lot of you arrive back at the spire. Is Adrex doing anything else for the time being?
No. Once he gets sick of all the lavish praise, he'll dismiss them all.
Okay, and you
But
lay alone in your treasure hoard.
yeah. But yep, that's good.
Okay.
And then head down into the spire, show Huyan or Hantao where Huyan bled out.
Okay. And you walk him through the spire and show him more or less what happened.
And then finally come to the plate behind there and say this is where she told us to
Whoa.
not this is where she told us you
That
just
was
deleted all our doodads.
Yeah, I don't care.
You just delete them. She'll point and show him this is where this plate is where she told us to unlock it, blah blah blah. And once we moved to decide we found this plate, when someone touched it, we were taken to another place.
Okay.
I think somewhere deeper into the spire, but we're not sure.
Do you then take him there?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we are
Adrex.
like we're doing everything we can to make this as long and boring and slow as possible.
Adrex,
Yes,
you need
sir.
to make a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage because you are not aware of what's going on outside your physical body.
Nope.
Yay!
No. Now I need a charisma saving throw.
If I'm appearing right on top of his head, does he get a plus?
You're
4 to
not.
this?
You're appearing on top of either the
20.
white or black dragon statue.
Oh.
20.
20?
Yeah.
Okay. You feel yourself very quickly ripped out of King Jean's control. You lose awareness of the treasure hoard around you. That anger flares up, and that greed and maliciousness flares up greatly. And then you're aware only of great pain as you realize Han Tao is basically laying on top of you in front of Qiang Zhao's statue. The rest of you arrive either in front of the white or black statue. Notably, this time Student 9 also arrives in front of the white statue.
Raazu strides over to where Huyan and Adrex are tangled up. And
Huyan's dead.
helps, or Hantao, I'm sorry. Helps Hantao to his feet and
Hantao
gestures
slaps
to
your hand away, jumps to his feet, screams down at Adrex that he's a coward, that he will see justice done. Turns back as Raazu approaches and holds out his hand. Says, "Hand me a blade."
Hantao, I have to apologize to you. I wasn't entirely truthful. Adrex did run, but he ran to come here because we needed to defuse the situation, and the only option that lay before us to do so was to use this magical device.
Adrex, your head is still swimming as the illusions in the room are fading quickly away, and you were in there a lot longer this time.
Yeah.
And you were suddenly stricken by the terrifying prospect that while you were there, you had no knowledge of or desire to escape. If Hantao had not fallen on top of you, you're not sure you could have come back on your own.
And Adrex just looks tired and exhausted and a bit broken.
And Hantao demands to know what's going on. And now you see, like, he's got this look like you've cornered him. Like you've brought him to a place where there's no exit. You're all armed. He's not. You're enemies of his father.
Birdie will hand him. He says, "Here." Like, will this make you feel better? Or he hands him his short sword.
Raazu slaps Birdie's hand.
And the short sword clatters to the ground. And Hantao again angrily demands an explanation.
And a short.
Well, we found a really great threat to your father, Adrex says. And he points to the statue.
And he looks it over.
Neat. Love it.
And he, again, demands an explanation.
We're not sure how, we're not sure why, but your father is somehow tied to the statue, and we think, at least, also this is what Student 9 is theorizing, that it allows someone to attune to it and control your father.
At the very least, influence.
And Hantao looks back at Adrex and says, then you could see, like, recognition start on his face. Then it was you, and not my father, that commanded me to come here.
Yeah.
Raazu nods.
It's all I could think of to save everybody.
And then he swivels around and stares at Student 9, and reaches down to pick the short sword up that's clattered to the ground. Holds it out towards the metal man and says, then this is your doing.
Raazu
My
shakes her
allies
head.
will help me cut you down.
I don't think it was Student 9. I thought it might have been, and I'm sorry, Student 9, but I thought you might have had fell designs on the spire and Hantao. But something you said earlier went a long way to convincing me that you're not. You said that you the first thing that you said when you were considering this device was to disable it somehow. Like, that was one of the first things that you said once you figured out what this thing does. That's what's gone a long way to convincing me, is you wanted to shut it down.
And Student 9 says that, he's speaking to Hantao now, and says this would be obviously the best option for denizens both within and without Kang Zhao's realm of influence.
Birdie is now super suspicious. Like, he's very, very, very upset at Student 9 because he could have spoken up at any time and corroborated our story, and he literally just kind of stood on the fence the entire time.
That's true.
He had to hedge his bets, Birdie.
Did you guys find my armor?
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
you
we
guys
did.
had to step over Adrex's armor to lower yourself down. I'm assuming you guys lowered a rope like you did last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, all his stuff was
Adrex-
still sitting there.
Yeah, Raazu will
Birdie hands him
put
his
the satchel over.
his Famor. It says, "I brought your swords, though."
Oh, that was the most important.
Anyway, yeah, so
Birdie handed him a regular dagger to try and to pass it off as his Famor.
you do realize that Adrex would try his thing immediately and then see that it wasn't it.
Birdie hands you something that absolutely doesn't look like a claymore at all, even a little bit.
He's standing there.
Looks at
He's,
Birdie.
he's standing there and looking very innocently at the ceiling.
So you guys
Hey,
are
let's-
coming. You guys are essentially coming clean with Han Tao at this point. You're not keeping or
Yeah.
deceiving him at this point. Okay.
Should have thrown you into the lava.
I think we should.
And there are metal men and shades, apparitions who know of this place as well.
Correct.
Right.
And my father has enemies on every doorstep, and I was right to be suspicious.
It's not just your father that we really have to worry about. There are 4 other statues.
One. Yeah. Yeah, 4 other statues. Anybody who controls this presumably could control any of the great dragons in these lands.
Han Tao barks out, "What's to stop us from reducing these other 4 to rubble and removing many of my father's enemies at once?"
Birdie raised his hand and says, "Tried that."
He says, "Look, this one doesn't even have a nameplate."
Like, and Birdie will walk up and like he'll pick I don't know, the green one, and he'll walk over and hit it with the pick that we get as hard as he can.
Okay.
The pick that he gave us to mine the obsidian.
Okay.
As to
says
not offend
that-
anybody present.
While you were gone, his father was acting very strangely. Without saying a word to anyone, he flew out of his lair, out into the open skies, and returned, and then left and returned again, and summoned him. And when he came, he merely said, and he says this with some disgust and shame, "Hi, Han Tao." And then whatever had taken hold of him, he shook it off, and in great anger, he commanded me placed in the dungeon, thinking that I had bewitched him somehow.
Raazu,
And Adrex will confess. Yeah. Sorry. That was also me. But I didn't know what was going on at the time.
He says that clearly we cannot return. His wrath will have only increased if this has now happened again, and his prisoners have escaped, and his daughter has been slain.
So bad. I mean, he's really angry. Like,
But
really
here's the
angry.
concern. You said that your father had been acting unusual before we came, yes?
He nods, says that he's not quite this drastic, but he has noticed changes come over him in his behavior.
Not quite as
and
Adrex, huh?
speech.
Not quite as Adrix. To Adrix. Hi, Han.
Raazu nods to the set of keys that Adrex has in his hand and says, "Now, I don't want to besmirch your blood, but she handed your sister handed me those keys."
Han Tao looks down and says, "No doubt Huyan was planning to betray us. She was brought here by duress, you will recall."
How did she? Well,
Be right back.
she was
Well,
not
so-
in league with the metalmen. Like, where did they come from? How did they get down here? They were awfully large to fit through the tunnels.
I think Huyan was trying to figure out how this works, and I think we may have had some measure of a hand in her ability to make such quick progress. And Raazu starts marking out the symbol that she knows for dominate person on the floor. That symbol came off of a spell stone, like the one that like the ones that we've been carrying around, and it's magic for controlling the mind. No doubt this is where Huyan was trying to figure out how to perhaps put your father under a more version of this magic.
Birdie goes, aha! And he reaches in his pouch and he whips out the scroll case that has Huyan's notes on that stone and hands it to Han-Tao.
Han-Tao takes it and looks it over.
He goes, we got that way back in the day, like way back when we ousted her from the village. That was
Season
something
1.
she left behind. Yeah.
Season 1.
Shallow Scale Lake.
Says this is Huyan's handwriting in truth.
Back.
He says that the only course of action that remains to him is that he goes back to his father and tells him about this place. And that his Lord Master will see to its destruction.
Or we could just destroy it ourselves and not tell anybody it exists. Because there are
cat's out of the bag on that one already.
There are 5 statues in here.
Make an insight check.
Who? Anybody or
Birdie specifically.
That's a 20 total, not
There
a
are
nat 20.
indeed 5 statues in here. And Han-Tao has no disillusions about what his father will actually do if he learns about this place. He will see that his own statue is guarded heavily, and the other 4 are taken under his control. And that would suck for a lot of people.
Yep. Raazu says so. Yeah.
Sorry. Has Student 9 said anything, or has he just been quiet the whole time?
He's been quiet the whole time, but you see he's kind of been walking the perimeter of the room, carefully regarding each of the other 4 statues, but being very careful not to lay hands on them.
So, did anybody else notice that Student 9 popped up over here instead of over here?
Maybe he's well, I mean, when I popped up over there, I was thinking of Adrex at the time. Maybe some kind of personal attunement to Dragon's
I'm gonna
blood?
go
I
over
don't
and
know.
talk to Student 9.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask him if he thinks he has any idea on how to destroy this quickly, because it's starting to look like Qian Zhao is going to get control of this place.
He says he's beginning to wonder if even Qiang Zhao has a method to destroy these statues in the short term. How do you
You know?
keep finding bottle caps?
Well, stop leaving them out then.
I just cleaned and vacuumed the entire carpet in here. She's materializing bottle caps out of thin air.
You've taught your cat how to clean. You should be happy.
Like, you have so many chew toys. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so
It's okay.
he tells you it would take him a great deal of time to come up with a way to disable these statues.
We
And
don't have a lot of time because once
I'm talking to him away from the group because I
yeah,
don't
you're
want
over at one of these other statues.
to be overheard. And I ask him, like, a more pertinent question then do you have a way to prevent this room from being accessed?
He says he's beginning to wonder if there's another entrance, and he looks kind of discreetly back towards the incredibly deep well in the north alcove.
From what we heard, only a dragon would survive that. Are you saying you don't believe that to be true?
He says that in truth he fears that place more than anywhere in this spire, more than the fires of Qiang Zhao's domain. That something resides in that pit that is very dark and very old. How? There's no way. Jesus. She's not just getting the same bottle cap over and over. I'm piling them up on my desk. She's found like 4 of them now.
What she's doing is she's telling you that you have a Pepsi problem and you need
No,
help.
these are these are white bottle caps off of bottles of water. Because the Pepsi ones usually end up back on the bottle, so I can put them back in the fridge. Anyway, I'm sorry for the constant interruptions. I have a puppy. What do you want from me? So he tells
you're still
Wendy that he's thinking that there's another entrance into this room from this well, but he doesn't think that he or anyone here could traverse it safely.
Does he think that the well entrance is a portal to somewhere, or it's whatever's keeping whatever's inside there locked in? Because if it's the first one, I think I know a way we could destroy it, and if it's the second one, it would be a very bad thing to destroy it.
He looks back at Han Tao and then back at you, and he says, "Can you provide me 5 moments distraction so that his gaze does not come this way?"
Yeah. And Wendy will head over.
And do you just start stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself? What do you do?
I'm gonna ask him about the metal that was on his sister's body. What he thinks could have caused it.
He didn't get a good look at it. He only knows it from your description. You guys walked past Huyan's body. Remember, he was only there for a few moments amongst all of that big crowd of people and all the noise, and his father immediately commanded him to take you guys to the spire.
But how long had she been here? I mean, it wasn't very long, right?
He says that she disappeared about a week prior with a pair of Dragonborn and several Urds. He says that he suspects that she was... And he says this with great difficulty. He says that his wife has come to mistrust his father as well.
Birdie says, I can't imagine why.
He describes Miquin's dowry, an artifact that was paid to Qiangzhao by her tribe to essentially to marry her to a man of such prestige, so close in bloodline to this ancient dragon. And Adrex, make a history check.
That's be great. 8.
8.
Could Birdie make this check?
No, Birdie
What's
cannot.
a history?
There's no such thing as
Wait,
history.
but-
There's only now.
And medicine.
She
Now and
describes
medicine.
a great dwarven battle axe made out of metal that no mortal now knows how to work. And this axe had incalculable value. And that it was paid to Qiangzhao as her dowry.
Same metal that you gave us to shave off a piece of the spire?
No, something different. He suspects that Miquin and Huyan were conspiring to take control of this power, rob his lord father of this axe, and make their escape with his 2 children. And this pains him to admit out loud, to see his suspicions essentially confirmed.
Do you know why they would run away with your sons? Like, do they fear, like, something? I don't know.
We fear the wrath of Qiangzhao.
He says that Huyan made... It was a grievous mistake to bring her back home, because she's done nothing but poison elements of his father's court against him.
Perhaps all your wife needs is some way to still be of use to your father while staying away, perhaps in advance.
And then a voice from across the room, you hear Student 9 call out, "Wendy, a moment, if you please."
And I'll nod and head over.
Okay. I need somebody who's still here, either Birdie or Adrex. One of the 2 of you. Or Raazu's there too.
Yeah.
One of you make a deception check in order to distract Hantao's attention away from Wendy as she leaves.
I got a plus 8 to this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sounds like this is an Adrex thing.
Or,
How much do you
no,
have?
plus 8.
Plus,
Oh, now then go for it.
Raazu loves lying.
I mean, we can assist at least, right?
Oh my god, where did you find a fucking fidget spinner?
See, I do like to think that this is Hantao just talking. Like, where did you find a fidget spinner? What is he talking about?
What's a
Very easily distractible.
I got a fidget spinner and an old DS stylus that I thought I lost years ago, and
I'm telling you, your cat is just or your dog is. You taught them to clean.
That's the second time. That's the second time you.
I'm sorry.